Well, hi all my LGBT friends and others. I have started this video twice now and gotten interrupted. That devil, he always tries to mess things up. Okay, well let's finish with Deuteronomy 28 and try to get into a little bit more of Deuteronomy. We finished at verse 47, I believe. Okay, so let's start with 48. Okay, hopefully I didn't miss anything here. All right. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies which the Lord has sent against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, the fruit of the land, which be destroyed, which also shall not leave either corn, nor wine, or oil, or the incense of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he has destroyed thee. He shall besiege thee in all the gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout the land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God has given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord the God, your God, has given thee, in the siege and in the straitness, wherewithin thine enemies shall distress thee, so that the man that is in tender among you, and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward his wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherein thine enemies shall distress thee in all of thy gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, who would not venture to set a sole of her foot upon the ground of the delicateness and the tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom, toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and the straitness, wherein thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, Elohim, Yahweh, Yeshua, Jesus. Have respect for his name. Okay. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long countenance. Excuse me. Moreover, he shall bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and thou shalt cleave unto thee. And every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until you be destroyed. And yea, shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for a multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you, to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you, and to bring you to naught. And you shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the end of the earth given unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations that shall find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, Would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, Would God if it were morning, for the fear of thine heart, wherewithin thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see? And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I speak unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold into your enemies for bondsmen and bondswomen, and no man shall buy you. So these are if they don't follow the law, these are the curses that they will endure: disease, boils, captivity, barrenness, locust, disappointment, have an evil eye, be full of evil. They'll be disobedient, self-willed. They won't fear God's name. They'll get plagues. Seed of wickedness will abound. Reprobations, dispersion. They'll start to worship false idols and false gods. They'll have unrest, and then they'll be slaves. Okay, so that's pretty strict warning, from God, and that applies to all of His children. Okay, all of us that are grafted into the original tree of Israel. Okay, and by the way, today is Sukkot, and it is the beginning. I forgot. They're at the Wailing Wall today in Israel. And also, I wanted to bring this up too. Stephen Ben-Danoon had a great guy on his show. Check his latest video out where they're talking about where the Temple Mound is, where we think it is, where the Wailing Wall is. That's where it is. Okay, basically, just in a nutshell. Okay, but he explains why. He thinks it's that way. We have other Christians like Chuck Missler and his friend, who was a cop and an investigator. They think it might be another place, but they're saying no, and it has to do with the water, and I agree with that because that's really important with the water. Has to do with purifying the animals, and it has to be running water. And so how he explains it and everything, and about the cisterns and stuff like that, it's really interesting. So check out that video if you can, and also check out what's going on with Israel today too. So for yourselves, if I remember, I'll put it in the link. Okay, all right. So chapter 29, if I can get through this, I'll try. The exhortation to obedience. The people are all presented before the Lord to enter into His covenant, the great wrath of him that flattered himself in his wickedness. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make to the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them at Horeb. And Moses called unto all Israel and said unto them, You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt, unto Pharaoh and unto all of his servants, and unto all of his land. The great temptation which thine eyes have seen, the signs and those great miracles. Yet the Lord has not given you a heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear, until this day. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes are not waxen old upon you. Your shoe is not waxen old upon your foot. You have not eaten bread, neither have you drank wine or strong drink, and yet might know that I am the Lord your God. And when you come into this place, Sihon, the king of Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us unto battle, and we smote them. We took their land, gave it in inheritance unto the Rebanites, and to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh. Keep therefore the words of this covenant, and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. You stand this day, all of you, before the Lord your God, your captains, your tribes, your elders, your officers with the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger that is thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water, that thou shouldest enter into the covenant with the Lord thy God, and to his oath which the Lord thy God maketh with thee this day, that he may establish thee today for a people unto himself, that he may be unto thee a God, that he hath said unto thee, that he had sworn unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with him that standeth here with us this day before the Lord our God, also with him that is not here with us this day. For you know now that we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which we passed by. And you have seen their abomination, their idols, their wood, stone, silver, gold, which were among them, lest there should be among you a man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turneth away this day from the Lord our God to go and serve the gods of these nations, lest there would be any among you that would root and beareth gall and wormwood. And it came to pass, when he heareth the words of his curse, that he blessed himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in imagination of mine heart, and to add drunkenness to thirst. The Lord will not spare him, but the anger of the Lord and his jealousy shall smote against that man, and all the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him, and the Lord shall blot out his name from under heaven. And the Lord shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to the curses of the covenant that are written in the book of the law, so that the generation to come of your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come afar, land, shall say that when he see the plagues of the land and the sickness which the Lord hath laid upon it, that the whole land therefore is brimstone and salt and burning, that it's not shown nor beareth, nor any grass groweth therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zobimim, and the Lord overthrew in his anger and his wrath. Even all nations shall say, Wherefore hath the Lord done this unto this land? What meaneth the heat of this great anger? And the men shall say, Because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them from out of the land of Egypt. And they went and served other gods, and worshipped them, and the gods they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. The anger of the Lord was kindled against the land, and brought it the curses that are written in this book. And the Lord rooted them out of their land, and in anger and in wrath and in great indignation cast them to another land, as it is this day. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, and we may do all the words in the law. That's it for today. All right, enjoy. Bye-bye.